We thank Voice for believing in our ideas and supporting us to bring our ideas to life. Sensitise Uganda identified a gap in the civic and voter education space in the Ugandan schools, which led to the birth of a project called Enhancing Secondary School Students' Civic Participation through Mock Elections that was funded by Voice. A mock election is an election organized for educational and transformative purposes. It is often used during voter education and also during mock governments like secondary school bodies. They are usually organized in secondary schools to introduce the young people to different ideas and concepts of democracy before they become eligible to vote. Mock election takes an actual election setting where first-time voters are taken through the actual voting, how it happens, their rights are highlighted and told the different do's and don'ts of an election. A physical polling station is laid out using the actual ballot papers, seals, ink pads, basins, dummy ballot papers, and dummy declaration forms. Then the students are then guided on how to physically vote using the dummy ballot papers. This process gives the students a better understanding of democratic institutions like local government, the Electoral Commission, the Uganda Police Force, among other institutions. It helps to prepare them for their roles as voters and potential political candidates. The project was implemented in partnership with the Electoral Commission of Uganda and 3 secondary schools: Chambogo College School, Progressive Secondary School Chitintare, and Mariam High School, Sasi. We started by conducting a mapping exercise to identify the different partners and stakeholders to work with, and that is how the Electoral Commission and the secondary schools were identified. We then started on the process of developing a mock elections toolkit with the Electoral Commission that guided us while we were conducting the civic and voter education in the different secondary schools that we were working with. We conducted the civic and voter education in all the 3 schools, spending 2 days in each school. We supported all the schools held presidential mock debates and campaigns that introduced them to how political candidates debate and campaign. A number of students volunteered to contest on different mock political positions and campaigned for votes. The real ballot papers were developed with photos, names, and political parties of different students that volunteered to contest in the mock election. Mock polling days were organized and the students voted for the mock candidates on real ballot papers using real ballot boxes and real laid polling stations. To support students understand leadership and democracy better, we worked with teachers in the secondary schools and provided mentorship and coaching to the students. A linking and learning event for schools was organized to bring together students to reflect and share on how the project supported them and how they used the information given to them to participate in the 2021 general elections and other national civic activities. A number of challenges and successes were shared by the students. We ended the project by officially launching the mock elections toolkit, and the launch of the toolkit was blessed by the representative from the Electoral Commission, the Department of Voter Education and Training. Along the implementation of the project, we faced some challenges. For example, COVID-19 pandemic, where schools had been closed, so we had to wait for opening of schools, which caused a delay in project activities. The schools were opened for online candidate classes with limited time to engage in co-curricular activities, so we ended up spending limited time with students because they were preparing for final exams. Because we had to observe COVID-19 standard operating procedures, especially social distancing, we had to engage fewer students, and yet very many were interested. Even with those challenges, the project activities were implemented successfully. We therefore call upon the Electoral Commission the Uganda Human Rights Commission, civil society organizations, and the Ministry of Education and Sports, particularly the National Curriculum Development Center, to include more corrections and civic education in the education curriculum. We thank Voice for believing in our idea and supporting us to empower young people with civic education. We strongly believe with more support, we can reach out to more schools with civic education using the more corrections approach.